Hello, hello! Welcome to Tennis Ace. We're gonna start a new game, you know? Thought it would be fun. And this also won the poll on what I should start next, so. Is what it is. So, kind of excited. I've heard nothing but good things about this, so. What is your name? Default. Yuichi. Yeah, we're just gonna go with default. Wait. Oh, okay. Last name. Michimio. Sure, that's pretty weeby, but okay. No. Oh. Well, okay then. A cool breeze passes by, softly ruffling my fur. I bask in the mild weather of April, enjoying the feel of the sun against my skin. I can faintly hear the sound of the wind against the trees below and the chirping of birds above. I'm content to just laze around and watch the clouds in the sky. It has always been a good way to kill time when I had nothing better to do. Lately, though, it has developed into a habit. As I lay on the ground, counting clouds, I feel myself drifting away into sleep. Just keeping my eyelids open seems like an impossible fight at this point. I'm tempted to just reach into my bag and grab my gaming console, but the thought of playing while fighting my urge to sleep is too troublesome. I snap out of my sleep, induced daze by the sound of the school bell. Is it already that late? Slowly, I hear voices. At first, they were only a few, but they keep increasing little by little. Students are probably leaving the auditorium now and heading towards their classrooms. Others are likely carrying around pamphlets and trying to recruit new students for their clubs. I don't even have to look to know what's happening. It's the same scene every year after all. Just the thought of being pushed around by all those people who keep trying to go to a million different places gives me a headache. I suppose I should head into class myself. Then I remember that teacher is going to be in charge of our homeroom this year. I think I'll just stay here and catch some sleep. It seems like the more comfortable approach. As I begin to feel the sweet calling of dreamland, a sudden noise snaps my mind back to reality. Did some student decide to wander onto the roof? Students aren't allowed up on the roof, so no one is supposed to come here. As for me, I just come here for some peace and quiet. It's a great napping spot after all. The sound of approaching steps echo. I move my ears a bit to be able to hear it better. It is. Is it coming towards me? Crap, have I been caught? I had a feeling you'd be up here. My ears twitch to the sound of a familiar voice. My body relaxes almost instantly. Thank God I'm not in trouble. I slowly open my eyes, holding a hand up to block the sunlight from assaulting my vision. Standing atop me is a tall guy, my own age, with a kind of wry smile across his face. His bright green gaze looks directly at me, at my eyes, nearly as bright as the morning sky above. He looked like he didn't know whether he wanted to command or chastise me. So in the end, he merely stood at the same spot, looking down at me with indecision. Finally, he sighs, scratching his chin and continuing to watch me with that smile. Shoiichi. Okay. Do you know morning assembly is already over, right? He sits down to me with a huff, turning around to look at my face with a smile. I don't know how you managed to keep evading the teachers every single year. But they were royally pissed this time. I think your luck just might have run out. I'm somewhat taken aback by his nonchalant attitude. Shouldn't you be a little more pissed? I really thought he had come over to drag me to the faculty office. He puts both his arms around his head and lies down on the ground next to me. I can feel the heat radiating from his body, our arms slightly grazing one another. I'm still feeling a little drowsy. Guess I might sleep for a few more minutes. By the way, my sister was looking for you this morning. Did she talk to you? His voice breaks the pleasant silence from before. I don't really feel like speaking, so I just nod. His tail shifts along next to him, wiping me, why am I having troubles reading? In the leg. I tilt my head slightly so that he's in my sight. He looks somewhat annoyed by my lack of words. What a pain. Oh, is this our player character? Huh. Okay. She asked me to show her around school. I said that she should probably ask you instead. She wasn't amused. Shoiichi looks back a laugh. She also asked me if she looked cute in her new uniform. I told her it was so-so. She was not happy about that. This time he's unable to hold back and laughs softly, his shoulders moving up and down at a pleasant rhythm. She tried to hit me with her bag. Luckily for me, I'm a fast runner. Shoiichi doubled over, clutching his stomach as he continued his fit of laughter. It's not funny. Your sister is the devil. Sorry. I know I shouldn't laugh. He takes a few deep breaths, trying to stabilize himself. Little by little, his shoulders stop quivering. Okay, I think I'm okay now. Really? Because you still look like you're about to burst into a fit of laughter any minute now. Sorry she's such a pain. She actually spends most of the summer sending me photos of her in different clothes, asking me what would look good for her first day of class. At first I thought she was joking, but when the semester was close to starting, and she hadn't stopped, I sent her a message reminding her of the uniform. And? She got mad at me because I didn't tell her sooner. Really, a high school student has to be reminded of the existence of the school uniform? Talk about a blunder. Oh, and it looks like she still has a major crush on you. Don't remind me. When we were kids, Hitoko had a serious older brother complex, always followed us around and saying she wanted to marry her big bro when she grew up. In fact, I remember teasing Shoiichi about it all the time. Why did she have to fall for me? If I let him know how much it annoys me, he'll tease me mercilessly for the rest of the day. Time for a tactical retreat. Change the subject. Is your dad still out of town? That was the first thing that came to mind. Oh god, I suck at this. His eyes say, really? That's the best you can do? But he still lets it slide. Yeah, business trip to Taiwan. He'll stay there for most of the semester. Why don't you stay with your mom in the meantime? I'm sure she'd be thrilled about it. Hitoko too. At that moment, the look on his face is enough to tell me that I said something I shouldn't have. That's an idea, but I don't really feel comfortable there. I feel like an outsider. Their house has stopped being a home for my home a long time ago. Plus, someone has to watch over our house, so it's better if I stay there. It's not all bad though. At least I can enjoy not having someone breathing down my neck about the chores that need to be done. And yet, I'm sure you will do them all regardless. Come to think of it, I don't really remember much of his current house. I didn't really visit much since his parents got divorced. Maybe I should go there sometime to keep him company. I know he still has a hard time dealing with the divorce, even if he likes to pretend that everything's fine. Maybe I could come over. I'll even bring one of my gaming consoles. Oh, that actually sounds like a great idea. Bring the Mega Neptune then. It has the best fighting games. Fighting games? Again? Are those the only ones you can play? Now look, there's nothing wrong with a good fighting game. No, but they're the ones that I can totally beat you in. Fair. How can he say something so sad with such a smile on his face? Fair enough. I'll see if I can get some free time this week. I can come over and spend the night. We can pull a gaming all-nighter. Deal. Well, except the part of the all-nighter, I don't think it'd be a good idea to lose sleep. Boo. Such a goody two-shoes. It feels so natural to see him smiling all the time. It's weird to think that he isn't always like this. Whenever he deals with the few people that aren't part of his group of friends, he always has such a serious look on his face. Honestly, it feels like two completely different people. He starts leaning back to lie on the floor as well, but just as his back is about to touch the floor, he shoots up. Shoot, I almost forgot. Saya-chan asked me to bring you over after she's done introducing the new club members. I was hoping she wouldn't have to go that far. Nah, she's mistaken. I've taken a day off since there isn't anything important we need to do today. Is that so? Shouldn't the vice captain be there to be introduced to the new members? Shoiichi shoots me such a suspicious look that I'm afraid he won't buy it. I guess I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on this one. Luckily, he merely shrugs it off. I just managed to make up a convincing lie on the spot. Good going, me. The tennis club has things so easy. We had to jump through all sorts of hoops to get permission to use the courts during the break. Meanwhile, you guys have free access to them all day. It's unfair. If you want better treatment, maybe you guys should start winning more. I had planned on getting up and bolting afterward, long before I finished my sentence, but I seem to have overlooked one fatal flaw in my plan. My body is still feeling sluggish from sleep, taking too long to move, and that time, Shoiichi, unable to get up on time, I'm grabbed in a chokehold by Shoiichi, who immediately starts grinding his fist into my head. Ho ho, was it my imagination? I could have sworn I heard a little brat trash-talking my precious volleyball club. It couldn't have been you, right? While this might have been a bad situation for an average person, I'm already so used to this kind of treatment that it doesn't even faze me. In fact, even if Shoiichi is a little annoyed at my comment, this is nothing more than rough play for him. If he really wanted to hurt me, I'd have no chance. That guy is freakishly strong. Well, he definitely has his arm wrapped around my neck. The noose is loose enough that I could get out whenever I want. Still, I decide to humor him and play the part. Gah! Shoiichi, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Let me go. Shoiichi's body. I say Shoiichi, it's Shoiichi. Yeah, okay. Body rumbles as he makes a choking noise. Unable to hold it in, Shoiichi begins to laugh with me, still in his grip, feeling his body vibrating like that is a strong, albeit familiar sensation. But even though he can barely restrain his laughter, he continues to play his part. If you think forgiveness is going to come that easily, then you're sorely mistaken. It would have taken you at least 100 years to achieve penance. Wait, Shoiichi, you're tickling me. And what's with that number? Be more realistic. Playing around with this is so nostalgic. It makes me miss the days of our childhood together. Well, not that those days were really, ever really left after all. We are rolling around on the rooftop in plain daylight. Shoiichi really gently pushes me away from him, giving me a tap on the shoulder. Away with you now, heathen. I am done with your punishment. Heathen? When did you become an, Inquisition. Word. Oh no, my tradition of Googling words I can't say right off the top of my head. My phone, it's like 3 feet away. Damn. That's too far. I don't know. I just always wanted to say a line like that. He's acting a little silly right now that I can't help but laugh. Whenever we get together, we end up fooling around like little kids. It's why we stopped studying together. We could never get things done. This is our last year, you know. You should try enjoying school, high school life a little more. Wow, the change of subject came so fast that I can feel some whiplash. I am enjoying it, and also, what's with the sudden change of subject? No, you're not. You barely speak to anyone in school other than Saya. Urashira. Urashihara. That's a lot of syllables. And me. And that came from me being worried about you. You should be happy. All right, Mom. And for your information, I have plenty of friends. Casual acquaintances aren't the same as friends. And I know that all of your classmates fall into that category. That's not true. You're just overstating the requirements for friendship. Is that so? I shrug. Nothing I say can change the subject and change his mind, so I won't really bother. By the way, what time is it now? I can't hear the students downstairs anymore. Huh? That's true. It's gotten pretty quiet. I can't either. Wait, why are you asking me that? Just check your phone. I left it in my bag. You're so unprepared. I pull out my iPhone out of my pocket and look at the time. Wow, it's already 11 a.m. 11:35? Shoiichi almost shoots up. Shit, I'm late. I'm supposed to be helping with the new team members. Sorry I held you up for so long. Shoiichi gets up quickly, dusting his clothes off. Is there any dirt on my back? No, it's fine. They clean the rooftops every day, you know. Don't change the fact that we were lying around on the floor. If this was going to be such a problem, then why did you do it in the first place? It didn't feel like a problem at the time. I'll chalk it up to the lack of foresight. Now come on. I'm sure you have better things to do than fall asleep on the school rooftop, even if you end up skipping practice. Here, let me help you. I mean, he's alright. Shoiichi leans down towards me, offering me a hand. Seeing the blue sky shining brightly behind me, and the gentle breeze ruffling his fur for some reason, I can feel myself blushing. Without really knowing why, I decide to look away and attempt to hide like a kid that got caught doing something bad. I don't need help. I'm not a baby. I'm not saying you are, but what's wrong with me trying to do something nice for a friend? I just want to help you. Damn smooth talker. Despite my protest, I still grab hold of his hand, with him pulling up to my feet with ease. He actually pulls me with too much force, and we end up bumping chests. My face lands square on his shoulders. It never ceases to amaze me how deceptively strong he is. I mean, he already looks strong, but he's still much stronger than he looks. If that makes any sense. Oh, jeez, you're way too strong. Try to rein it in a little. You're gonna end up throwing me off the building. Sorry. You have so much fluff that you look much stockier than you really are. What's that supposed to mean? It's a compliment. I'm saying you're lighter than you look. Just as I'm pulling away from him, a particularly strong gust of wind blows against us, rustling my fur violently. Whoa, it's so windy up here. How do you manage to stay up here for so long? It's not usually this windy up here, you know. Plus, you're making for a pretty good windshield right now with how big you are. Although I decide against mentioning that part. My pockets start vibrating with force. I already have an idea who might be calling, so I choose to ignore it. Shoiichi, though, has completely stopped. His eyes are glued to my pants pocket. Aren't you going to get that? Nope. It's in bad taste to ignore a call, you know. So I do it all the time. Spare me the lecture. I have a pretty good idea of who it is, and this will be a conversation I'd rather avoid. Shoiichi gives a bemused and, in one fast movement, shoves a hand into my pocket, pickpocketing my phone. Hey, give that back! Hello, this is Shoiichi's secret girl. Saya-chan. Oh, here's the development I didn't want to see occurring. The change in his expression are already enough to tell me that I'm busted. And screwed. I attempted to stealthily walk away from the situation. You have a match? You told me you were taking the day off. Crap. I am, without consent. Shoiichi starts rubbing his forehead. Yeah, Saya-chan. Sure, I'll bring him. No! Shoiichi hangs up the phone and looks at me with a grumpy expression. I don't appreciate being lied to. I don't have to tell you every detail off my every waking moment, do I? Well, no. But you have to go to practice. Why? It's your responsibility. Again, why? Because you're the vice captain, for crying out loud. And this is not up for debate. Shoiichi grabs me by the shirt collar and starts dragging me. Whoa, I'll go. You don't have to drag me, Shoiichi. Shoiichi! Saya-chan, we're here. Saya stomps her way over to us, nearly knocking down some students that were unlucky enough to be in her path. If this were some kind of manga, I'm 100% sure she'd have smoke coming out from her ears. You asshole! I got grabbed on my collar of my shirt and dragged to the court. What's with people grabbing me by my shirt? I have arms. Grab those. They don't cost money, and there's no risk of ripping them. There's no way you're running away again. Wait, Saya-chan, I promise I'm not going to try to escape. Please stop pulling my shirt. Saya... Mizoguchi. Mizoguchi, one of my dear childhood friends, is the current captain of our school's tennis club. Unfortunately for me, she is incredibly brash and hot-headed. Even though she looks so innocent and tries to act cute, she's a monster whenever she gets angry. And considering how easy she is to anger, one could say that she lives in a state of constant anger. Standing at 176 centimeters, she's also one of the tallest girls in school, which I find slightly unsettling. Mizoguchi-senpai, I'd like to remind you that our new members are watching this little display here. Saya turns around to look at the source of that voice, her nostrils flared and her brows furrowed. Not to mention that huge vein that pulses on her forehead. The one addressing her is Keisuke Uroshihara. Yeah, one of our juniors. Despite his age, he's by far one of the most responsible members of the team and is constantly counseling Saya and I. Sometimes it feels like he's the one pulling the strings instead of us seniors. Not 30 seconds after popping up to speak in mind, Keikun has already left to busy himself with something else. Somehow it seems that his interference, however brief, was enough to bring her back to her senses. Saya clears her throat and straightens her clothes, turning around to look at Shoichi. She still maintains a death grip on my shirt collar, though. Right, anyway, thanks for helping, Sochan. Huh, don't mention it. Call me any time this unruly child gives you any more problems. He seems to be enjoying himself far more than he should. Bastard. I'll get him back for this. Gym 3, the one that houses the tennis court, is actually separated in 4 by a giant locker room. On one side, we have a tennis court, and on the other, we have a volleyball court. So in the end, it was incredibly convenient for him, so he was already bound to come this way anyway. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some captaincy duties to fulfill. He waves us goodbye, heading towards the locker room, supposedly for his own practice. Meanwhile, I can feel Saya leering at me. A creeping sensation of dread begins to settle. Well, Saya-chan, I guess I'll just freeze. Her voice is so filled by authority that I'm cut down before I even have a chance to speak. Before long, I completely toss away the foolish notion that I have ever a chance to escape. Why are you being so troublesome? You know about our club's tradition. We had to delay practice because of you. I look at her, trying to ignore the slight pang of guilt I feel in my chest. She's, of course, talking about our club's special yearly match featuring a junior and senior player elected by members of those years to represent them in a special one-on-one set. No one really knows why they initially made it, but nowadays it's accepted as the way to show off our best players to those who are just joining the club. This is why this match takes place at the first day of class. Do I really have to? I already know. I already took part in it last year. Isn't there some kind of attendance limit to allow more people to participate? Even as I am trying to find a way out of it, I already know the best I can do is buy some time. It's true, though, that I was chosen to represent the juniors last year, defeating the seniors' representative by 3-6. The first time in over 10 years that a junior had won. I was pretty happy about it last year, too. Look, normally I'd give you a pass, but all of the seniors voted for you this year. It'd be unfair to them if I picked someone else. Usually, we host one match per gender category, so we'd have girls and the boys playing in separate categories. But still, the guys are still allowed to vote on who they want to see representing the girls and vice versa. It's a pretty neat system. Oh, come on. It can't have been literally everyone. I know for a fact that I didn't vote for myself. Don't try to be cute. You didn't even vote at all. You were absent that day. Rats. And yes, you got every single one of the votes, 100%. Is it even that big of a surprise? You're one of the most well-known players in Japan. Of course our guys would want to watch you play. Doesn't help that you have been slacking off in practice for the past year. I attempt to act frustrated by sighing as loud as I can. I hope that she'd see it and decide to take pity on me. It is not very effective. Should I take that sigh as a sign that you're resigning yourself to your fate? Yes, great. Then it's showtime. Saya grabs me by my wrist and starts dragging me to one of the courts. Just as I'm about to truly surrender in the inescapable fate. I feel a hand touching my shoulder, and I turn around. I'm greeted to the sigh of Keikun's face. Hey, how about we take a little breather here, okay? Mizuguchi-senpai, Michiyama-senpai hasn't even changed out of his uniform yet. How is he supposed to play like this? Can't we at least give him some time to get changed? Keisuke, you're the best. Saya stares at him. The bulging vein in her forehead makes another appearance as her brows twitch with frustration. But then it seems that she might not budge. Ugh, fine. But be quick about it. I don't want to have to delay this any longer than I have to. Thank you. I'll be right back. I flash Keisuke a thumbs up as thanks. Now I just have to plot my And don't you even think of trying to run away. Otherwise I will hunt you down and I'll make a fur coat out of your skin. On second thought, I dash towards the male locker rooms, well, not female, trying to get this done as fast as I can. Every time I take Saya, every second I take makes Saya even more mad, and I can't risk that. Just then, I see Shoiichi standing right next to his locker, his eyes just as glued on me as mine are on him. For a second, what is happening doesn't really click for any of us. After all, it's not every day that someone runs into a locker room, nearly crashing into the lockers. Shoichi's hands are still frozen on his waistband and his underwear. Whatever it is that he is wearing, his hands are still clutching it as he is still, had just pulled it up a mere fraction of a second before I walked in. And the entire backside is completely bare, especially with him standing frozen like that, giving me a perfect view of it. Sorry. I turn around as fast as possible, trying to erase the image of my half-naked childhood friend from my mind. Being a self-conscious and around half-naked people, I'm a failure as a Japanese person. Is this really necessary? I'm not packing anything you haven't seen tons of times before. Shut up. I'm not usually this much of a nervous wreck about naked people, but having no time to prepare myself mentally has made me completely shocked to this sudden exposure. And it had to be Shoichi of all people. I could hear him softly chuckling from behind me, probably having a lot of fun at my breakdown. I mean, seeing someone in their underwear inside of a locker room is no big deal, but it's true that I've seen him wearing less before. No comment on that one. But, I was a kid back then. I didn't really understand how embarrassing nudity was. In the end, I couldn't decide if I should make conversation, move towards my locker, or start undressing myself. I just stand frozen with my back turned away from him. Your eyes aren't going to fall off if you look at me, you know. Have you gotten dressed yet? Nope. And I'm not going to until you turn around and look at me. What? Why would you do that? 'Cause you're freaking out and it's hilarious. I'm gonna kill him. There, I'm looking. I can see more of you than I'd like. Oh god, did you have to wear a jockstrap? I can see your ass. Oh, this? It looks pretty snazzy, doesn't it? It looks like something you'd buy in a sex shop. Since when have you worn this kind of skimpy underwear? I'll have you know that I bought this at an athletic gear store, and it's actually pretty damn comfortable. It's great to practice in. One of my team members recommended it to me a few weeks back, so I gave it a try. Don't I look great in it? Whatever you want to believe. You know, for someone that's complaining so much about me being half naked, you sure seem to be interested in my crotch. Your eyes haven't left that area since you turned around. Shut up. I'm looking at the only area of your body that's still clothed. Sure you are. Keep telling yourself that. Shoichi turns around to his locker, picking up the change of clothes. There, I'm dressed. You can stop freaking out now. Thank you. God, my cheeks are so hot right now. Good thing your house has a bath. I think you'd have a meltdown if you had to shower at school. I don't doubt that. I place my tennis bag on the bench, and pull out my practice clothes. For a second, I move to undress myself. I see Shoiichi with the corner of my eyes and freeze. He looks at me in confusion for a second, then realization dawns on him and he sighs. You want me to turn around, don't you? I just nod. Shoiichi sighs and turns away from me. How do you even deal with this when you're staying at a hotel for a tournament? I don't use the hotel's bath. I look for a bathhouse with private rooms. That's kind of sad. Beats getting naked in front of a bunch of strangers. Alright, you can turn around now. Shoiichi turns around, so I'm adjusting my shirt. Good thing Keikun swapped in to help me. If I had left it up to Saya, she'd have forced me to play in my plain school clothes. I was looking for the word uniform, and it wasn't there. His expression turns sour when I mention Keisuke. Hurrah for that. Still mad over last time? That was my ball and he knew it. For some reason, that completely eludes me. These two are always finding some stupid reason to fight over. I swear, it's like placing a burning candle next to gasoline. The slightest thing makes it catch fire. And for the last time, let it go. It's been almost 2 weeks already. Shoiichi pouts. God, he's too childish when it comes to Keikun. I'll let go when he apologizes. We both know that's never going to happen. Just drop it. Why do I have to be the one to accept defeat? Because neither of you is winning. You're both just making me miserable. Fine, I'll talk to him. You don't have to be rude. Well, anyway, I have to get to practice. Talk to you later. Sure, see ya. I check my bag to make sure I have everything in order. Once I'm sure that nothing's missing, I grab my racket and head outside. As I start looking for Saya, I catch Keikun stretching alone at the court. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Pain suddenly shoots from my skin, making me jump forward, yelping. Son of a... I reflexively reach down to my foot, rubbing down the spot that just got brutally assaulted by this monster woman. Saya merely leers down at me with an annoyed look on her face. What took you so long? Did you get lost inside of the locker room? Sheesh. I ran into Shoiichi, while I was changing. Also, ow! At least she's no longer breathing fire down her mouth. She seems to have mostly cooled down. She's only just annoyed. By the way, I'm sorry I didn't tell you this before, but Kay is the one you'll be playing against. You were kind of a flight risk. You were kind of a flight risk at the time. Just like you, he got all the votes of his year. This is the first time our club has ever gotten 2 players with 100% of the votes. I'm really excited for this. She looks like she might hopped in place for excess glee. I've only played against him once, and that was a while ago, but I still can't see myself losing to him. Sorry if that sounds cocky. To be honest, I also think you'll win, but then again, this is tennis. Never put it past your opponent to win by an upset. You should be happy. This will be a great chance for you to practice. You'll probably play against him during the prefectuals? Prefectuals. Anyway. Yeah, great. Practice I didn't even want to get. Such an amazing opportunity indeed. I grumble unhappily in place, still thinking of the throbbing pain in my skin. God damn it, even if she was just playing around, she kicked way too hard. She shakes her head sideways, making an exaggerated shrug. I find your lack of enthusiasm disturbing. Really, you're quoting Galaxy Wars in regular conversation now? I know she's a film nerd, but there's a limit to everything. Hey, if it fits the situation, then why shouldn't I? With a big smile on her face, Saya shrugs for the last time before walking away towards one of the Empire chairs. leaving me to watch in dismay as Keikun finishes his preparations. Wait, the umpire chair. She's the one that's overseeing the match today? Oh, this is just great. Is our coach absent today again? I swear, that man takes every opportunity he has to slack off. Just like you. And on the first day of class, really? Deciding to think nothing more of it, I proceed to do the most basic warm-up, making sure to finish it at least in less than 5 minutes. It's not my usual warm-up routine, but then again, I don't even care about this match in the first place. I wish I was home. As I make my way to the court, I can hear some of my club mates whispering here and there, most of them sounding really excited for some reason. I guess Saya wasn't kidding when she said that people had been looking forward to this match. Damn it, why do I have such a stupid grin on my face? I'm letting the excited mood permeating the gym affect me. Then that Keikun is watching me. I see that Keikun is watching me, having already finished his warm-up routine. Even though he was running around and doing stretches up until now, his clothes still look to be in pristine condition. As he sees me coming over, he flashes a smile. How are you feeling right now? You seem a little out of it earlier. Did Mizuguchi-senpai give you too much trouble? Even though he was referring to us by our last names while other club members were around, now that we're out in earshot of other people, he's back to calling us by our first names. Which is great, because I hate the excessive deference people treat me with just because I happen to be a bit older. Age is just a number after all. Sorry, I was still half asleep earlier today. Saya gave me one hell of a kick to the shin, though, so that's jolted me awake. He seems almost amused by hearing that. He is acting... he's been exposed to Saya for too long. He's not even batting an eye to random acts of violence. This one has already been corrupted by us. As long as you're not limping, it should be fine. I'd be worried of angering her again, though. I'll say, feels like I've had a few years knocked out of my life expectancy. Saya's one scary girl when she's angry. He laughs at my remark. His normally deep voice, he has a deep voice, carrying softly through the air. He's pretty subdued most of the time, but I guess there's a certain air of refinement to him. Like, almost as if he wasn't just some average high school student. Well, since we'll be playing only one set, stamina won't have much of a problem. How about we go at each other, guns blazing from the start? Sounds good. How do we decide who gets to serve? Should we just flip a coin? If it's okay with you, I'd like you to take the first serve. I know it's unusual. Your preference. I know it's usually your preference, and I'd like to give it a try. Sure, I guess, I mean, if you're really okay with it. I am. I think it'll be a great opportunity for me to try out a new strategy I've come up with. Now, if you don't mind, I'll stay with this side of the court. Shall we get started? I nod, wishing him luck before heading over to my side of the court. What's up with him willingly giving up the first serve? He's totally underestimating me, isn't he? I walk over to my starting position, and one of the freshmen hands me 2 balls. Okay. I guess I roped them into being our ball boys for this match, huh? I take a few deep breaths to steady myself. Once I walk onto the court, I shouldn't focus on anything but my opponent. It doesn't matter if it's a tournament match or an exhibition match. It's all still tennis in the end. And I refuse to give anything less than my all when it comes to tennis. What? Okay. I throw the ball into the air, moving my body as quickly as I can with a whip-like motion to throw the ball at the peak of the toss, to hit the ball at the peak of the toss. It goes past the net, hits close to the line, a powerful flat serve that goes wide. The ball bounces quickly and swiftly, sliding past Keikun's reach. Or at least I thought, or as it should have. With a swift motion, he dashes to the ball and returns it, though not perfectly. The ball doesn't go very deep and doesn't have much power behind it. If it's like this, I can handle it easily. I reach the ball and counter it, putting as much force as I possibly can without sending it flying out of the court. The ball does go to the opposite side of the court as Keikun is standing in right now, hitting the ground and bouncing away before he starts running again. 15. Keikun looks down at the skid mark left on the floor by the ball, whistling in admiration. Seeing his surprise definitely makes me smile a bit. The freshmen all start talking loudly and excitedly after seeing the last rally. Shut up! Saya easily solves the problem by using her usual sunny disposition. The only problem is she almost gave me a heart attack. Looking over at Keikun, I notice him standing completely frozen, eyes wide as he stares at Saya. She quickly notices his gaze and laughs nervously. Please continue. At least she regains her composure quite fast. We both walk back to our positions, Keikun taking just a little bit to compose himself. After knowing us for a full year, I'm surprised he's not used to Saya's personality yet. I take a moment to bask in his atmosphere. If I even hesitate to be here right now, I have to admit that being on the court is the best feeling ever. Once more, I shoot a flat shot, aiming for the line. Keikun dashes to the ball and almost reaches it. Returns the ball to the net. 30. Keikun stares at me with a troubled look on his face. I guess he just isn't used to a truly fast serve. There are many players with a lot of raw power around for him to practice against, so it's no surprise he's still not used to playing against me. Guess that's one benefit for me not playing against him so often. I repeat the same strategy once more. A flat shot with a lot of power is what I excel at. Although he gets the ball with a relative ease, he misjudges the timing. His return ends up too long and flies out of the court by quite a bit. Out, 40. I can't keep myself from grinning like an idiot. I just might be a little bit of a sadist because crushing an opponent always feels so satisfying. Look, honey, I understand. I never get sick of it. Oh, honey, I understand. Keikun probably thought he came up with some strategy to break my serve and asked me to serve first so he could attack and mess with my head. He probably thought that by breaking my serve, he'd also break my concentration. Instead, it seems the spell has been turned against its user. Game. Michima. Game count 3-0. Michima leads. The small crowd that's gathered around our court starts to cheer loudly once more. I just wish these guys would shut up. This is way too distracting. For Keikun, he seems largely out of it since the end of the first game. I guess the shock of seeing his strategy failing so catastrophically has broken his concentration. He's completely abandoned his tactic and fine skills in favor of a brute force approach. Tennis is a sport where the mind is just as important as your body. If you start thinking too much about losing, your fear will probably will cause your body to panic. Your body won't move as it normally does without noticing your play becomes affected. Because of that, I managed to easily break through his serve game. And that creates a downward spiral. The more he's dominated, the more he fears an eventual defeat, causing his place to worsen further and making him feel even more dominated. I mean, I like dominating my opponent. That's why I play Shiranui in Vanguard. It's a feedback loop that you can't escape from unless you notice that you're in it in the first place. And even then, it's no small feat. Professional players struggle with this type of thing. For a high school student, this is a momentous, monumental beast all on its own. I'm usually all in favor of rest breaks, but right now I wish we could play the whole match without stopping. Not because I'd like to, but because I don't want Keisuke to have time to calm down. It might be a shitty thing to say, but I hope he stays in this slump all of the way to the end of the match. Time. Well, no point dwelling in it. I'll just get back to the court and try to get this match done with as soon as I can. This is exactly what I was hoping wouldn't happen. His eyes seem much more focused now. I guess the small break gave him enough time to get himself back together. I can't really afford to let my guard down. Keisuke tosses the ball into the air, making contact with it just as it begins to drop again. There's no doubt that this serve has gone back to normal. I guess there's no more weakness for me to exploit. Good things in life are always short-lived after all. The ball soars over the net, making contact with the ground deep onto the court. I managed to reach the ball and send it back, but I lost my balance for a second and got a late start on my subsequent dash. Just as I take a couple of steps towards the center of the court, Keisuke immediately sends a powerful shot to the side I had been on. Not having enough time to regain my balance, attempting to change direction makes me trip. The ball slides through the floor, bouncing again on a sideways arc. I somehow managed to reach his shot, but because it stays too close to the ground, I can't make a full swing and end up lacking power. This is likely what he was going for. It seems K-kun has decided to attack my counter, which is admittedly a rather annoying strategy. Right after I return the ball to the other side of the court, he again shoots it to the other side of the court to make me run. This is where a 3 or even a full set match, I'd be seriously worried about my stamina. In a flash, K-kun has identified the shots I most struggle against and the ones I most want to hit. But doing that, he is aggressively looking to keep his serves by chipping away at me until he can go for a win. This style of tennis that emphasizes a wide variation of shots and a delicate touch to his speciality. It's thanks to this that K-kun manages to overcome his average constitution, becoming a well-known player in our region. Still, he has yet to make a breakthrough when it comes to the national competitions. Since I can't fall into a comfortable pace, I end up not being able to hit the ball as I want, and such can't put away a winner. I continue to struggle with the rally until Keisuke eventually runs me out of the point. Keisuke continues to use the same strategy for the remainder of the game. I'm only about to score a single point before he wins. We promptly start the 5th game. This time, I have to try and hit my best, my best possible serve to keep myself on the lead during the serve game. While I fully expect myself to have the advantage on my serve, I still don't want to be caught up on a long rally against him. I don't really have that much stamina. I go for a strong flat serve for the center of the court. Although it's high risk, the ball makes it right at the edge of the court, pointing to the line. Despite that, Keikun reaches it, returning a deep ball with tons of topspin. Using the advantage given to me by my serve game, I quickly return a strong flat shot to the other side of the court. The speed of the shot doesn't give him time to ready the next swing. If he doesn't have time to prepare, he can't send a very precise shot. He ends up lightly tapping it onto my side of the court. I rush over to it and strike it with everything I have, putting away an easy winner. 15. Keikun looks somewhat angry. I see his muttering something to himself before he gets back into position. This is the main reason I avoided playing against him for so long. Keikun falls into a category of tactical player. He is constantly running simulations and thinking up different strategies to deal with any problem he might face. Ordinarily, when faced with a huge hurdle, a player like myself would attempt to find an answer through trial and error. A player like Keisuke, though, is constantly analyzing the shifts and patterns. Because of that, he can shift into an answer almost instantly. I'm forced to keep changing up shots far too often in an attempt to throw him off. In the end, I'm not truly forcing my way through. I am just taking a detour that forces me to spend extra energy. I just hate having to deal with any wall that my power can't break through. Because I am forced to constantly think and look for alternatives, the strain of having to sustain such a degree of concentration while keeping up with my usual high-pace games makes me get tired faster than usual. Still, I can't just shoot blindly, otherwise he will eventually find a way to shut me out. I decide to change up my serve a little bit by adding a few spin shots to my serve, which are usually all flat anyway. I can throw him off for a while. I try putting as much power as I can into this spin serve, though the ball is significantly slower than before. Crap, I'm not too good at using spin. Because of the way a player grips his racket and the hands he uses to hold it, the ball tends to naturally spin in one direction. That's one of the reasons left-handed players are favored in the game. Since there aren't many of them, the players tend to have already ingrained their reactions to different shots. Any differences, no matter how small, can throw them off. Most players capitalize on this natural spin, hitting spin shots that make the ball slide in that direction. Since hitting a spin towards the opposite direction makes it so the ball doesn't slide so much to the side, it tends to not be as favored. But because it isn't as favored, it becomes unexpected, and I use this to catch Keisuke off guard. He reads my serve and rushes into position to return, but because the ball doesn't escape as far to the side as he expected, he ends up hitting the ball too close to the grip of the racket. His return is shallow, leaving me an opportunity to attack. 30. Keisuke looks just about ready to throw his racket at the floor. He's gripping it so tight that his hands are shaking. I'm not exactly happy with him like this, but I decide to bury those feelings for now. He's my friend, but when we're on court, I can't show sympathy. This time, I go with a wide slice. Once again, since I'm serving the ball to a direction to the opposite of its spin, instead of sliding away from the court, it angles itself back in. An awkward angle of of the shot causes Keikun to hit another weak return, which I easily put away. 40. The freshmen all chat excitedly while they watch the match. There are so many voices at the same time that I can barely even make out what they're saying. Well, not that I'm trying to anyway. Keikun seems like he can't even notice them, not reacting at all to their voices. That guy's concentration is on a whole nother level, and that's already scary enough by itself. I ready myself for another serve. I take advantage of the indecision my past two serves created and hit a strong topspin shot wide. Keikun is caught by surprise. Having tried to anticipate my serve, he ran towards the center, but had to double back immediately. Because he can't reach the ball, I score a serve ace to take the game. The freshmen erupt in cheers before being reprimanded by the other club members. Game, Michimiya. Game count, 1-4. Michimiya leads. We take another break. I slide into my sleet to rest for a bit, uncapping the bottle of water and taking a quick sip. When I glance over at Keikun on the side, he has a really intense look on his face. He might look like a meek, silent type, but he really gets fired up when it comes to tennis. He mutters something to himself that I can't quite make out, sweat rolling down his face and dripping from his matted fur. He's wiping his face using the hem of his shirt. Why he isn't going for a towel inside his bag, I really don't understand. One thing I will say is that for someone who looks as lithe, and somewhat fragile, Keikun is surprisingly well built underneath his clothes. I can quickly tell just for how much effort he puts into nurturing and caring for his body. Even for someone who doesn't seem to be naturally very athletic, he manages to build himself to a point where he doesn't have even a little bit excess muscle anywhere. It's something to marvel at, really. Even I probably am a little bit thicker on the muscle mass than I should be. Time. We both get up from our chair at the same time. If I want to end this match as soon as possible, then my goal should be to break his serve. I think I'm gonna stop the part here because it's running a bit long. So, see you around, everyone.